Hi, my name is Bhairavi Shankar, and I'm here at the 2017 Canadian Science Policy Conference. Joining me today is Sierra Clark, Masters of Epidemiology candidate at McGill University, and the winner of the CSPC Annual Science Policy Award of Excellence in the youth category. So welcome, Sierra, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us about the proposal that you put in.
Yeah, so I'll first talk about the environmental problem that inspired my proposal. So I'm an environmental health researcher in epidemiology, and I'm interested in air pollution, how air pollution impacts health. And the specific type of air pollution I'm interested in is household air pollution, and that's air pollution that is derived like inside the home. So the sources are indoors, and it's from cooking or heating with polluting fuels. So polluting fuels would be like solid fuels, which include wood or coal, and cooking or heating them in an inefficient way, so in like an open fire or traditional stove. And so household air pollution is actually one of the major environmental health risks globally. It impacts half of the world. About 3 billion people still cook with solid fuels. And it impacts human health and climate as well. And the health impacts are quite substantial. About 2.6 million people die each year from exposure to household air pollution, which is exposures inside the home, but also in the community because pollution can move freely. And so it can cross that boundary. And it impacts our health in different ways. It impacts the respiratory system, which is quite obvious, but also the cardiovascular system. So my research that's not necessarily, it's not the same as my policy proposal, but it's what inspired it, is I work in China and I look at how air pollution impacts cardiovascular health in China. But it's also harmful to the health of our planet, and it's impacting climate change as well. There's many different types of pollutants that are released when solid fuels are burned inefficiently, and one main one is called black carbon. And when black carbon is emitted and released into the atmosphere, one way that's contributing to environmental change is that when it deposits on the surface of ice sheets or glaciers, it actually increases the melting process by absorbing more sunlight. So there's clearly a health risk, and there's clearly environmental or a climate risk to household air pollution. And while indoor air pollution or household air pollution mostly impacts populations in low and middle income countries, Canadian communities are impacted as well. And that's what my policy proposal focuses on, is wood burning in Canada, inefficient wood burning in Canada, and the health and climate impacts and intervention strategies. So in Canada, there's actually about 3 million people who burn wood fuels and burn them with uncertified or just like conventional style like fireplaces or stoves. And wood burning in Canada actually contributes to about, it depends where you are, but it's about like 10 to 60% of our outdoor air pollution is just from wood burning, which surprised me when I first found that out, because I mostly think about industry or vehicle or traffic emissions. Like for example, in Montreal, the city actually recently had to ban fireplaces because 60% of Montreal's air pollution was from wood burning, which is, I found that very surprising.
Yes.
But so clearly there is a need to address this environmental health risk in Canada, because we know that it's impacting the health of populations who are exposed to wood smoke, we know it's impacting climate, and we know that it is a prevalent source of pollution in Canada. So my policy proposal then addressed solutions. So that's the problem or the challenge. And so then I suggested a policy for what can we do about it. Well, there are tested and effective solutions for reducing pollution from inefficient solid fuel burning. These include, well, you can do things like switch the fuels that you use, or you can improve the stoves that burn wood fuel to burn them more cleanly and efficiently, or you can place portable air filters inside your home so that indoor air is cleaner and pollution is filtered out. And so I propose that for Canada, we should take a proactive approach. So Canada has had policies and initiatives in the past, but they've been a bit more reactive. And I think we should identify communities that are impacted by wood smoke exposure. We have tools that have already been developed to identify these communities, and we should work with community members to decide or identify which stoves that are certified and burn wood fuels will work with their local cooking practices and needs and air filters as an intervention package. And combine that with a robust educational and promotional campaign, because we really need local demand for these new technologies to be there, because that has been one of the major challenges and barriers for cook stove interventions globally, as well as in Canada, is getting people to use it, because people's behaviors are very ingrained and it's hard to change behavior. So that's my policy proposal.
Well, I wish you all the best in continuing that work and taking it further. So tell us about how you came to hear about this policy award being offered and what motivated you to apply for it.
Yeah, so I'm a scientist and I do policy relevant research. I do science that I hope to be for policy. But it's unclear, especially as a student, of how to actually take science outside the lab and into the policy sphere. There's no clear step-by-step plan, and a lot of it is just who you know, right place, right time. And so over the years, I've tried to involve myself more in policy, or just at least inform myself more. And so I've done different programs like Science Outside the Lab North, which is run in Canada every May. And I'm also a member of the Science Policy Exchange group at McGill, which is a group of students who engage in policy discussions. So I found out about this policy, or this award program, or this competition through these two groups. And I saw it as a really great opportunity to finally have a potential opening to, get science that I care about into the ears, or, expose policymakers to this award in a way that is a very clear-cut process. So I took the opportunity to do that.
So what would you recommend to other students who are potentially catching this online but are unable to be here at CSPC? What are your recommendations to them?
For engaging in policy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just
trying to get introduced or incorporate that in their scientific journey.
Right. I would say just if you see training programs that are offered, networking programs that are offered, or like award competitions, just apply, immerse yourself. There's not a lot of training programs like in universities. There are some there are some policy programs that you can take, but just take the opportunities and go talk to policymakers, because there's a very clear divide between scientists and academia and policymakers, and the two groups, they don't talk that often. And as a student, you're getting one side, and so just jump over to the other side, go to Ottawa, take training programs, and
participate in similar conversations.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us in this booth. And where can people find out more about your work or contact you?
Yeah, so if people want to talk to me more about my work, they can email me at my main email address, which is my name, or I'll just, spell it out. It's sierra.clark@mail.mcgill.ca, and Sierra is spelled SIERRA.CLARK. Or you can find me on Twitter. I'm very active on social media, especially with my research. So my Twitter handle is @SierraClark2.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you.